Hello friends and welcome back. This is Travis with Tikal Fitness and Japanese for Business. And we are going to proceed with Chapter 1 of We Mean Business, the second series of Japanese for Business people. And this first chapter is about setsume, or instruction or explanation. In Stage 1, we have grammar practice. And the areas that we are going to practice in are Shanai, which is speaking in the office, and Shagai, which is speaking out of the office. And in this video, we're going to cover the first point of Shanai, which is right here. Te imasu to. So let us begin. Stage 1, Shanai, speaking in the office. Number 1, point 1, kikikaishite setsumei o motomeru. This means to repeat what someone has said and to request clarification or more instruction. So let us read through the first dialogue here. Kaiwa ichi. And in this dialogue we have Mr. A and Mr. B. Mr. A is the superior and Mr. B is the staff. And Mr. A gives a direct request or action for B to carry out. A-san. このレジュメ多めにコピーしといて。多めにって言いますと、そうだね、15部くらいかな。So here the supervisor has asked the staff to make copies, a lot of copies of the resume. But B does not understand what a lot means and wants to clarify or wants to get more instruction and asks for clarification. And the supervisor then comes back and says, right, about 15 copies. Down here below, we have Renshu Ichi, which is the practice 1. And you replace numbers 1, 2, and 3 in the underlined section above in the main dialogue. So let us read 1, 2, and 3 and find out what those mean. Number 1, もう少し. This means a little bit more. Number 2, 少し余分に. This means a little bit extra. Number 3, 必要なだけ. And this means as many as we need. So let's go through the dialogue and replace the underlined section in the main dialogue with numbers 1, 2, and 3 and see how it sounds. A さん、このレジュメもう少しコピーしておいて。もう少しって言いますと、そうだね、15部くらいかな。And number 2, このレジュメ少し余分にコピーしておいて。少し余分にって言いますと、そうだね、15部くらいかな。And number 3, このレジュメ必要なだけコピーしておいて。必要なだけって言いますと、そうだね、15部くらいかな。And then we have point 1, 聞き返して説明を求める. Here, someone who has received instruction, they're not clear on the instruction and they would like more clarification, so they repeat the instruction or the request and ask for more clarification and more instruction. Let's move on to point number 2, or the second practice, rather. Here we have still Shanai speaking in the office, and we have Renshu ni. And again, the main grammar that we are learning here is te imasu to. And that is this expression that you would use if you are a staff or if you are responding or asking for clarification to someone who is a superior to you. And then you would use te imasu to. So here we have Mr. A and Mr. B. A similar scenario where A is the supervisor and B is the staff. A makes a request to B. A さん、会場には早めに行って。早めって言いますと、そうだね、30分ぐらい前かな。So here, Mr. B, who is the staff, wants to clarify, get more instruction on what his supervisor means by asking, please get to the conference center or get to the meeting early. And he wants to clarify what early means. And so he asks by using this grammar, te imasu to. And the supervisor responds about 30 minutes before the meeting. Now let's read through the key point here, and this key point comes along in many of the chapters, many of the sections, and many of the points under the stages. And so we want to read through this and understand what the key point that they want to drive home here is. 相手の言った言葉を繰り返すことによって、それが意味することを具体的に説明してもらう。この場合、多めにといった聞き返し方をすると、存在な印象を与えるので、必ずって言いますとをつける。So what they're saying here is, if the staff simply asks or clarifies with his supervisor by saying, 多めに, as if he's asking a question, what do you mean by a lot? Then it gives a feeling of disrespect towards the superior. And so we want to avoid this. In Japanese, this is very sensitive, very critical, because there are very different forms of grammar endings that we can talk in. Very colloquial, speaking with friends, or very formal when you're speaking with people you don't know, or respectful when you're speaking with people who are in a position of superiority, or they are in a position of respect, where they demand respect or require respect based on their position. And so here they're saying that you want to make sure that you include the phrase て言いますと at the end of the question that you're trying to clarify. So that is why here in the key point, 多めにて言いますと is how you want to say that. And so that is the key point. So here we have completed stage 1.1, 聞き返して説明を求める. Asking clarification or more instruction by repeating the question and making sure that you do so by including the phrase て言いますと.